Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of Hymn Street. In today's episode of Hymn Street, I wanted to discuss hymns and their structure in greater detail. I thought this would help us as we continue to go through these episodes. In the future, I'd like to present Hymn Street episodes from various churches on different organs and to highlight hymns from other denominations. So, in speaking about hymns, hymns have a particular structure. And the hymn book that I will use for my examples today is the United Methodist Hymnal, which was published in 1989. On page 7 of this hymnal, we have directions for singing from John Wesley himself, which points to the importance of hymns as well as congregational singing to the founders of the denomination. Now, each hymn has a meter, and that meter is determined by the amount of syllables in each line of a particular hymn. So I will use, for example, the hymn Amazing Grace. The meter for Amazing Grace is 8686, and that is often referred to as CM or common meter. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound. That's the first 8 syllables. That saved a wretch like me. 6. I once was lost, but now I'm found. 8. Was blind, but now I see. 6. Therefore, the meter for Amazing Grace is 8686. Now, the meter for another hymn well known is the common meter for another hymn well known is O 4,000 tongues to sing. The meter for that hymn is also common meter, or 8686. This means that I can sing the text of Amazing Grace to the tune of O 4,000 tongues and vice versa. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. Or, oh, for 1,000 tongues to sing my great Redeemer's praise, the glories of my God and King, the triumphs of His grace. Therefore, you see how the meter allows us to interchange these tunes with these two different texts. Now, I keep using the word tune. What does that mean? The name of the hymn, O 4,000 Tongues to Sing, in which the text was written by Charles Wesley. However, the tune was written by Carl Glaser, and Glaser named the tune Asman. So the tune is ba 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 bum. The hymn is O 4,000 Tongues to Sing. Now, in this particular case, one person wrote the tune, one person wrote the text. Therefore, you can find other hymns sung to that same tune. Now, there are examples where the same composer wrote the text and the tune. There are examples of where the hymn and the tune are given the same name. So, this helps us how? If I go to play at a particular church or even at my home church, and we are introducing a new text, and that text is written to a tune that the congregation is not familiar with, rather than introduce new text and a new tune at the same time, I will look for another tune to accompany that particular text. Therefore, when introducing this new text, the congregation has something familiar that they know, i.e., the tune that I'm using. Now, it is always good to expand the repertoire of a congregation in terms of tunes and hymns. But in cases where we want to introduce new material, this can be done through knowing the meter of a hymn. So if I get new text, I can go through the text, find out what the meter is, and find a tune to the same meter that is familiar. Now, also in the UMC hymnal on page 926 is a metrical index. And there you will see common meter and all the tunes that are common meter. So if I find a text that is common meter, all those tunes can serve as options that I would use. And one may pick a different tune based on the feel of the hymn and what works best. Not only familiarity with the congregation, but something that suits the text well. A great hymn is a hymn where text and tune come together to create this awesome marriage in which the text speaks to the heart and the tune moves us to sing. Now, in today's Hymn Street, I will introduce a guest. Her name is Kira Parsiak. And Kira is my friend. She's my colleague. We studied at Westminster together. And she does a series called Hymn Reflections or Hymn Improvisations, in which she will create a piano arrangement based on a few tunes. Now today, the tunes she will be using are Thaxted, Nettleton, Beach Spring, and Slain. Thaxted is not in the United Methodist hymnal, but Kira will speak about it, and many of you will recognize the tune. The next one, Nettleton, we will know as Come Thou Fount of Every Blessing. The tune is Nettleton. The next one we will know is Beach Spring, which goes to the hymn, Wash, O God, our sons and daughters. And the last tune she introduces is entitled Slain, which goes to the hymn, Be Thou My Vision. So I hope this has given you some information pertaining to hymns that you'll take time to look through the hymnal or the hymnal from another denomination and identify things such as meter, such as tune, the composers of the text as well as the tune, and the importance of these hymns. Thank you for stopping by Hymn Street. And as Kira plays this reflection, see if you can identify the 4 tunes that she mentioned. Thank you.
So this next reflection that I would like to do is one that I have done for the past few times. I've done these live series of reflections, but I thought I would start it a little bit differently. As I said, with these improvisations, I never play them the same way twice, and I make them up as I go along. What I like to do is I like to find a hymn or chant and use it as a jumping off point and see where it takes me. And it never takes me to the same place twice. So this next set is an improvisation that I do quite a bit on 4 different hymn tunes. They are Thaxted, Nettleton, Beach Spring, and Slain. I would like to start with the hymn tune Thaxted. So Thaxted, which is we associate it with a couple of different hymn texts. There is O God beyond all praising, and the text that we use most often for Pentecost, O Spirit all embracing. This hymn tune is also a theme that appears in the movement Jupiter, the bringer of jollity, from Gustav Holst's The Plants. So I thought I would start my improvisation that I do with these 4 hymn tunes with that particular hymn. So I call this my reflection in E flat major. Just don't want it to topple over on me. There we go.
I'm sure you would agree with me that that was quite beautiful. I just wanted to share with you and tell you also that although I focused mainly on common meter, other meters do exist. Long meter, short meter, irregular meter, but remember they are all based on the amount of syllables per line. Thank you again for supporting Hymn Street, and I look forward to seeing you next week right here on the same street. Take care and stay blessed.